Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for being here for Inside Microsoft 365 Hidden Features that make a big difference. We're going to go ahead and get started in about 30 seconds. I'll turn it over to my cohorts here, John Eric Eubanks and Diana Kakoma. But as we're waiting for people to join on up, why don't you go ahead and open up the chat and type in where you're calling in from. What community do you work for? All right, Kathy from Kenilworth, Leslie over in Lincolnshire, Brad in Lincolnshire as well.
Oh my God, that's Noah. I'm like, that's like my really good friend.
Noah, you got friends up in Lincolnshire?
Of course, the best.
All right, Carrie's over in Brookfield. All right, well, John, Eric, Diana, why don't you guys take it away? Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you. So today we're going to focus on what matters most to you all, which is making Microsoft work smarter for your teams. We've met with several communities and we've noticed common challenges. Coordinating meetings between different departments or external partners, locating information, and leveraging Copilot for meaningful outcomes. Those pain points show up in every organization. So in this session, we're going to explore 3 practical tools that have a real impact on your daily work. You'll see how scheduling polls streamline the process of coordinating meetings, how to quickly locate messages, files, and people using global search, and how to get more out of Copilot by using clear, effective prompts. Each of these features is designed to save time, reduce frustration, and help your organization focus on what really matters, and that's serving your community more efficiently. So before we jump in, let me take a quick moment to introduce ourselves. I'm John Eric Eubanks, a Microsoft 365 developer with MGP, and I help local governments streamline their operations through automation, enhanced collaboration, and simplified efficiency. Diana?
Thank you, John. I am a local developer at MGP, and I have been building Microsoft-based solutions for private and public entities for about 4 years.
Oh, great. And thanks for that. We also have Ralph Nickersher online with us today. He'll be keeping an eye on the chat and Q&A. So if you have any questions during the session, feel free to drop them in there and he'll make sure they get answered as we go. So to get started, let's learn how to simplify meeting coordination with scheduling poll and Outlook. Let me share my screen. But first, let's set the stage. It's Monday morning in our imaginary village of Acerton, and I'm the finance director trying to schedule an annual capital improvement planning meeting. I need various departments, public works, community development, the village manager's office, and external consultant. So I open Outlook and do what we all do. I send an email. Hey, everyone, can we meet to review the CIP draft? Within minutes, the replies start rolling in. I'm out Tuesday. Could we do after 3 on Wednesday? Tuesday's bad. That's a board packet deadline. 20 reply all later. I've color coded availability and still have no date. It's the classic local government scheduling circus, and I'm the ringmaster. Fortunately, there's a much easier way to do this. Instead of juggling emails and calendars manually, I could have used scheduling poll built right into Outlook. And to show you exactly how it works, I'm going to walk through a quick demo of how scheduling poll makes coordinating across departments and even outside partners simple. Let me share my screen here. And you're going to want to open up a new message. And the reason why we recommend opening up a new message is because it's going to automatically embed this scheduling poll into a message for you. And then go ahead and start adding your attendees. Give me 1 second.
And you will need to add attendees and a subject in order to see the option for the scheduling poll.
All right, going to add Diana. I'm going to add a subject, and then I'm going to select in the message right here. And then right here, we have the scheduling poll available for us. If it's grayed out, that's because we need to add a recipient right up here. All right, as soon as you open it up, it opens a side panel availability, and it shows everyone's availability. And at the top here, it has a link to go to your scheduling poll dashboard. And this is where all your open, close, canceled or expired polls live. And here you'll see details like the meeting title, date created, attendee responses. You can edit, cancel, or delete. And if you highlight over here, it shows all the meeting settings. And you can even adjust the default preferences from this view as well. But let's go back over to the poll setup Outlook. And here you can edit time zone, duration, meeting hours. So what this is, if it falls out of work hours, you can turn it on. So right now it has current work hours, and you can have it where it has outside of work hours. And then we have a date picker here as well. So let's go ahead and jump to November 12th here. And what's great about this scheduling poll, it pulls up everybody's internal calendar so you can see their availability when they had blocked off. And for people that are outside of your organization, if their availability is not here, those partners are able to propose new times and propose new dates as well. So it looks like we have 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. open. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a backup one here on the 13th at 1 p.m. And it looks like the other times here. So here in red shows that we're not available. In green, I am available. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Now, this page is where you can really fine tune your poll. You'll see selected dates, times here. You can also add location if it's an in-person meeting. And below here are settings to where, so this what means once everyone reaches a consensus. So if everyone votes yes on a meeting, it'll go ahead and automatically create that meeting for you. So that shows that automation for you. And this whole selected times here. So this temporarily blocks those time slots to prevent double booking within your calendar. And I'll show that later once we create the poll. And then require attendees to verify the identity. So this right here, we'll turn this off, but this is to require, if it's just for internal, that they need to sign in. And then lock the poll. This prevents anyone from adding new attendees or time suggestions after you sent it. And once you're happy with the poll, go ahead and hit the create poll button here. And I like to add a little message here, just telling them, pick a time that works best for you. You could choose preferred, yes or no. And then I'm gonna go ahead and send it here. And then looking at my calendar, here's the holes that I was previously talking about here. And you can see that those selected times are now marked as hold events here, meaning that if someone was to try to schedule over that time, Outlook will show that I'm tentatively blocked. So this is a great feature because it keeps my calendar protected while everyone's waiting for responses. So all right, now I'm going to show, we're going to throw it over to Diana, and she's going to show what it looks like from the recipient side, how staff can review the poll, cast their votes, and confirm time for the team.
And so this is actually my inbox. And as you can see, I did receive the poll from John Eric. And so I can open it the way I would open any other email. And that's his message there at the top, letting me know that I'm going to have three ways that I can respond to each time slot. And then you just click vote. And so when you open up what really is a ballot, at the very top, you have the meeting title name or title. And then you have how long the meeting is going to last. In this case, it's 30 minutes. If John Eric had selected a location, then we would have the location there. And I know in advance that I'm going to have 3 options to choose from. So this is the 12th, the 13th. I'm going to propose another time just because it's possible that I may be traveling on the mornings of Wednesday and Thursday. And so I just want to propose a Thursday afternoon time slot. November, okay. November 13th, and make it the afternoon, 12 p.m., and it's done. And so, of course, I get a confirmation, and the time that I added is here. And I'm going to say that this is the time I prefer, but I am actually available on Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to say no for Wednesday morning, and I'm also available for Thursday. I'm going to say no for Thursday morning as well. But so this is what I'm going to submit, and I'll go ahead and vote. You get a nice confirmation that your vote has been submitted. And then, having voted, I get so first of all, I received a notification that a new time had been proposed. And so that's good to know. And then I also, after I voted, I got the confirmation, or really an invite, that I can now accept or decline. And the great thing about this is that it's really fundamentally going off my availability that was in place when John Eric initially created the poll, and then based on my responses as well, the invite was created, and it accounts for both of our availabilities and any changes that happened along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and accept. And that was a lot easier process. You watching this here I think it doesn't really display the ease or the improvement in the process of setting up something, but it really is a much better process for the user. And I will say that it's definitely a game changer for me scheduling meetings for internal and external people. And so I just want to, just let you know why this matters. For any government agency, maybe in the village of Asserton in particular, you have to think about how often this happens, whether it's budget workshops, grant coordination meetings, department head updates, and interagency sessions with consultants or legal counsel. Scheduling poll turns all that back and forth into a single organized workflow. It saves hours of staff time, and it keeps calendars accurate and ensures critical decisions don't get delayed because everyone can't agree on a half-hour opening in their schedule. And so now John Eric is going to show us the mobile experience of using the scheduling poll.
Yeah, and just like Teams and OneDrive, this works everywhere or anywhere essentially. If you're away from the office or in a council meeting, you're able to see what alerts coming in. You can see the scheduling poll, what attendees accepted the poll as well. So essentially, there's no need to scroll through an email chain or waiting for the council meeting to end to review and see what kind of inputs are coming in. And so if consensus isn't reached, let's say I invited Public Works or an external consultant for this meeting invite, and it's still open in the dashboard, you can actually go into the dashboard and go in there and select which times works best for a majority of your team. So either way, the process ends with one accurate meeting instead of at least 20 emails. So that's scheduling poll and that in action for the village of Acerton. It analyzes availability. It lets attendees vote. It automatically finalizes the meeting when everyone agrees, and it saves time for everyone. So next time you're tempted to start an email chain, hey, when can everyone meet? Just open up Outlook, click scheduling poll, and let Microsoft do the ringleading for you. And now we're going to toss it over to Diana, and she's going to walk over the great features of the global search.
Thank you, John Eric.
I can definitely use that scheduling poll feature. I know a few of people online have definitely received some of my scheduling polls.
Nice. So now that we have an actual date and time scheduled for our meeting, I need to prepare for that meeting. And the best way for me to prepare is to make sure that I have all of the communications and documents that are going to be relevant for me to bring to this meeting. I would say specifically for me, I need the information on an outside consultant that we're going to be working with. But what I'm going to do is to show how you can use the global search that lives in Teams. And so this search bar, which is called global search, is always there. So whether you're in activities or calendars or your OneDrive, you can always use the search bar to find what you're looking for. And so one of the first items that I'm going to show that myself searching for are names within teams or channels. And so the way you search a team or channel is that you use the /, and as soon as you put in the /, you're going to get this list of shortcuts that you can use within Teams. And the shortcut we are interested in using is the go to, because it helps you go to a team or a channel. And so I'm going to search for Public Works, because there is a team called Public Works. And so we click on it, and you see that it takes us directly to Public Works. And so I would say the longer that you use Teams, the more likely you are to be a member of many teams and many channels. And so sometimes you just need to get to something quickly, and you can do that with the go-to search. And so I'll do one more search.
I really love the shortcut feature it has there. I know because I'll tend to forget what I'm looking for searching. So that's a really cool function that it has there.
Thank you. So I searched for the consultant company actually that we could potentially work with, and so it brought me to their page. That's called Irving and Smith, and so that's the team, and these are their channels under here. So in addition to searching for teams or channels, you can also just use a keyword, and so that way you don't have to remember the /. You can just type in whatever it is you happen to need. And so I'm going to type in the name of the consulting company. And you see, as soon as I type in even part of the word, I get a lot of options. And so at this point, because I've gotten these options, I'm going to go ahead and just click enter. And at the very top, I do have the teams and channels showing up. But then I also have all of the messages in which Irving and Smith were mentioned. And I have files. And so all of the files that are related to Irving and Smith, or where their name was mentioned, are there. And the only way that those files are going to show up in this search is if you include them in OneDrive. So if you just have a document on your computer, it's not going to show up in this search. So if it's important for you to be able to find it using this easy method, I would just recommend that you save your documents to OneDrive whenever you can. And so this is giving me the results for Irving in all of the areas of Teams and OneDrive. And so maybe you just need to know where Irving and Smith is showing up in messages. And so you can limit it to messages. That way you're not getting you're not getting the files and teams and channels and all of that. And then even when you're within messages, you can continue to filter down whether that message is coming through a chat or a channel. You can also filter by people. We don't have any people named Irving or Smith in this organization, so that won't render any results. But what I find really interesting is that you can also filter by date. And so if you know that the communication you're looking for or the document that you're looking for arrived yesterday, or maybe it arrived 2 months ago, you can actually go in and filter it down so that you're getting a limited number of results that might also be much more useful for you. And also within this messages panel, you can also filter such that you're only getting those items that have an attachment. And so in this case, I'm actually looking for the document that is most important for my meeting is the proposal. And here it is. It's saved in OneDrive, and I can click on it and open it. And then that way I'll have access to it. And so let me actually just wrap up with the global search and say the main benefits of having the global search is it's very funny, is that you can save time and energy because you are able to find all of your documents and all of your conversations and communications just by whatever you type in into the global search. And so I find it to be a real time saver.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So those are two resourceful tools. Now we're going to talk about how to utilize Copilot with prompt engineering. So AI models are a powerful tool that can really generate various outputs, including text, images, and code. So to effectively utilize these models, it's crucial to understand how to communicate with them and guide their output. So typically you've probably been hearing prompt. What is a prompt? So we're going to give a quick definition of what a prompt is. So a prompt is an input given to a AI model, instructing it on what to do and how to do it. So prompts serve as an interface or essentially how you interact between the user is what is you call we call ourselves the user, and the AI model's capabilities. So essentially, the quality of the model's output largely depends on the quality of the AI prompt. And then Diana has here, she's going to go over the ease framework that's going to really help you refine and get the outcomes that you're looking for.
Thank you, John. And so this framework called ease is one of the many frameworks that are out there that help you construct effective prompts. And so I'm just going to go through the different letters, and then John Eric is actually going to walk us through actually building prompts. And so ease, the first E in ease stands for explain the context, because the AI can't read your mind and doesn't really know your life. And so it helps to give it some context, to give it some background about the project or what it is that you'd like for it to provide as far as results. And so that is the giving it background or purpose. And then we have A for ask clearly. You can tell Copilot exactly what it is you want it to do, whether you need a paragraph or bullet points or, you can just, or how long you want it to be. You can really just ask clearly, be clear with the AI. I guess in that case, it's also like people. The more clear you are with your requests of people, the more likely you are to get what you're looking for. And then the S in ease stands for set the style or format. And here you can define the tone and structure of the response. And then we have E as in evaluate and refine. Once you submit your prompt and you get your response back, you need to check that response for, does it seem factually accurate? Does it seem reasonable? Because sometimes AI can just be very creative and can pull things in that you don't necessarily want in whatever it is you might be sharing with other people. And so that is the ease framework. And it's a great way to consistently write good prompts. And it's also easy to remember because it's ease. And so as you're writing prompts, you can quickly bring that to mind, or maybe you can post it in your office somewhere or at your home, wherever you might be writing prompts. So a good example that incorporates the 4 factors of ease is at the bottom here. It's like this document outlines a proposed capital improvement project for the Main Street intersection. Write a 2-sentence summary highlighting key improvements and budget details in plain language for the council report. And so we are going to share this with you once we're done talking about prompt engineering. And so you can keep it for your own reference for other prompts that you might write in your own life. All right, please, John Eric.
Thanks, Diana. That was a great breakdown of the ease framework. Now let's see what this actually looks like in action. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, here I have our CIP INS proposal in front of me, and I want a quick overview using Copilot. Here's what most of us probably do. We type in, summarize this proposal.
Yeah.
Now, that's not wrong. It'll give you something, but the results will usually be very broad. Copilot may just reinstate what's in the document. It's not focused. There's no structure and definitely no visuals. It doesn't know who you are, kind of what Diana is saying. It doesn't know who the audience is or what kind of summary you actually need. So the key is here, AI can't read your mind. It can only read your prompt. Now let's take the same scenario and apply the ease framework Diana just walked us through. Prompt in. All right. So right here we have act as a finance director, presenting on a capital improvement project proposal to community development, public works, village manager's office. The presenter will cover a high level overview of project documents, timelines, details, and benefits, provide a table and graph to illustrate funding distribution across for clarity. So essentially they explain for context, that's as finance or act as a finance director presenting our capital improvement projects, and naming all the different departments. And then asking clearly, that's provide a table and a graph to illustrate funding distribution across projects. And then setting the style and the format. Presentation will cover a high level overview. And then as for the evaluate, and we're going to do that now. And just let's look at the response we got. You see the difference? The version gives Copilot context, a clear goal. It also gives it visuals as well. Scroll down here. And then, yeah, so you can also see that there's a real structured table and chart that looks like it's leadership ready right there. So the main takeaway is the more simple your direction is, you get the Copilot, the simpler you'll get back. So don't just say, summarize this, tell it who you are, who's it for, and what the outcome you want. This turns AI into a real productivity partner. And so whether it's coordinating meetings, finding information, or getting better results from Copilot, the goal is the same, make Microsoft 365 work for you and not the other way around. So we have about a few minutes for questions. We want to see who's the first question. Who has the first question?
And actually, while we're waiting for the questions, Ralph, maybe you can tell us what's happening in chat.
Right now, chat is light, but go ahead and ask your question. You can use the chat feature to ask your question. You can raise your hand. I'll call on you. You can use the question and answer. So all forms of questions are welcome based on anything that you saw here today.
Thank you, Ralph.
So one question I have, or that y'all may be asking, is why did I select the body of the message before I clicked the scheduling poll to open up? And the reason why I did that is because if you don't select that and you have a signature in your mail, it's going to place that poll embedded underneath the signature. So you want to select the inside the draft there just to ensure that it gets put into the message properly.
Kristen mentioned in the chat that she finds the ease framework very helpful, and she's already taken it and shared it out with her team. So thank you, Kristen.
Excellent. And actually, I was just about to ask. We tried to keep the topics very practical, and also just our talk in such a way that these are things you could walk away with and implement right away. And so it is our hope that at least one or two of these things are things you can use today, maybe.
Yeah. So I challenge y'all to take this back and maybe someone in here from your internal team, just maybe practice and send them a scheduling poll to see if they receive it, and even test out the ease framework and global search. But it looks like we got some questions coming in. Ralph, what are they asking?
Yeah, John Eric, I'll pass this one over to you, and maybe I'll have an opinion on this as well. Brad over in Lincolnshire asked that he noticed that we are using the new Outlook. He's wondering if we would have a recommendation on whether Microsoft 365 users should switch to new Outlook or remain in old Outlook.
Well, Ralph, you know me, I'm an early adopter. So whenever anything new pops up, I switch to it. But it really depends what you're most comfortable with. I would first do a little testing with the new one, but and just see if it aligns with your process. If there's something missing, like a key feature that you utilize every day, then I would stick with the original Outlook. But if you're, but essentially, there are some features that weren't there previously, but now they've already added them. And sometimes the features aren't where you think they are, so you may have to go looking a little, drill and dig a little deeper to find them. But my overall recommendation is to switch to the new Outlook. I definitely love the new interface, how it looks, the buttons, and just it's pretty much like the old one, but just with kind of like a new, fresh paint. What's your thoughts, Ralph? I know you may have different thoughts from me because I'm an
Yeah,
early adopter.
you are. I always lean on you to explain what all the new technology changes are, so I always appreciate that, John Eric. But
Thank
here's my take on it from a local government perspective. There's like two things that kind of help me decide whether or not I'm going to adopt new Outlook. The first one is in the new Outlook, if you have a Copilot license, not the Copilot you just get, but the actual paid version of Copilot 365. That works in the new Outlook better, I find. I don't use it very often. I'm not a big adopter. I'm still writing my own emails at this time. But for those who are interested in taking advantage of Copilot, summarizing your inbox, helping you stay on top of it, helping you draft, messages, I find the features work better in new Outlook. Here's the biggest pain point I hear with new Outlook and people trying to use it in local government. Attachments. So the reality of where we are at in local government right now is we are still emailing attachments to people as opposed to sharing links to documents. That's just where we're at. In the future, we'll be just sharing links to documents from our cloud file storage, whether it's SharePoint or OneDrive. But the reality is today we are attaching files pretty frequently. One of the downsides to new Outlook is we don't have the same experience that old Outlook has in the fact that in old Outlook we can take an attachment, drag it, and drop it where we want to place it. In new Outlook, we just can't do that. You end up having to save it first and then ultimately moving it where you want to. So I've heard a lot of friction because it's kind of interrupting people's previous workflows on that. So with a person who is heavily dealing with attachments, I'd recommend using old Outlook. So that's my 2 cents on it. We have another question from Leslie up in Lincolnshire as well. In the scheduling poll, does it take the time originally offered, or is it going to take a new proposed time when it's auto scheduling a meeting? I think that's the context around this question.
Sure. Thank you for asking, Leslie. So when I get the list of options and I added the time that was proposed, it really just took that as one of the times. And so because I had said that I was available for a time that John Eric also was available for, it went ahead and just scheduled it for the time that I said I was available. And the time proposed was just there. It was just an option. But because there was agreement, there were mutual times that we had already said yes to, it went ahead and scheduled based on what we said yes to.
Yeah, and also just more on that, and we did some testing with it as well, and we selected different times that we both agreed on and with the proposed time. And so what it's going to do is if it's going to select, let's say there's one at 9 a.m. and one at 10 a.m. that we both select yes for, it's going to pick the first time slot for the automatic consensus agreement. So if you don't want it to automatically click that first time slot, then I would unselect the allow the consensus when everyone agrees yes option in the scheduling poll. But yeah, it's a great feature where you can it does a first feature, and if you do want to propose a new time and you don't want to have the other times, just select no on those, and that proposed time will be the actual time that they may agree on, and then it may go back and forth within that poll. And what's great, typically before that it would be email threads going back and forth, but now it's within the poll and it's just one email thread that you have to follow, or not even that.
So just following up on that, Kristen asked, so if you propose a new time, does everybody that the poll was shared with now get alerted that there's a new time, even if they've already voted?
Yes, it'll alert them, letting them know, and they can go back in and revote, resubmit the vote to say, oh, maybe this time works better. So they had that opportunity to go back in there and make those votes. So that's a great question.
All right. Well, I'm seeing no additional questions. I'm actually going to drop the ease framework in the chat here so you all can have access to it. So it's our little takeaway from today's session. Diane and John Eric, why don't you close us out?
Well, thank you very much for joining us here today. As stated earlier, our goal was to provide you with practical school skills and techniques for making your day smoother and maybe more pleasant. Actually, I was thinking this morning that the whole polling scheduling thing actually makes setting up a meeting slightly more fun than it is in the old way of doing it. So thank you for being here. Do you want to add anything before I close out?
Yeah, again, just reinstate what she said. Thank y'all for y'all time. And I expect to receive some scheduling polls from y'all whenever y'all want to set up a meeting with us. But yeah, thank y'all again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. You'll get a recording of this as well, so please share it out with people once you get that. Thank you so much.
Bye.